Hey everybody, today we're going to talk about placement exams, what they are, how to not be terrified of them, and how to prepare to get a better score. Stand by. Hey everybody, welcome back to RATTLECAN FAB Shop. I'm James. We're going to talk a little bit about what to do if you're going back to school and you have to take an assessment test, which in most cases you're going to have to do. So let's get to it. Okay, so you have decided that you are going to further your education and you're going to go back to school. If you are what we are called non-traditional students, meaning that you are not right out of high school, then you will most likely have to take a assessment test or a placement test. They will usually do that in two different areas. It will usually be in English composition and math. Now, in the old days, when you did this, you had to contact the testing center, and you would have to call and schedule an actual assessment time to go into a testing center. You'd have to check in and show your ID and at a certain time, and you would have to take that test physically at their location. Now, we live in the world that exists after COVID. So the exams that I ended up taking for my institution, I did them on a Zoom call. I did it all online. I registered online, and then I was able to log in. My computer had to be able to run Zoom. It had to be able to have a webcam and a microphone. If you got a webcam, you probably have a microphone. And you had to be able to show the there's a proctor, someone who helps to administer the exam, and you have to show them your desktop that you don't have papers or whatever around, and you actually can take the test in the comfort of your sweet home, which is exactly what I did. So don't double check with your institution, is that what they're doing? The English assessment was pretty straightforward. They give you what's called a prompt. They give you a situation, and then you have to construct a short essay on that premise, either attacking or defending it. And as simply as I can give it to you, you have an introductory paragraph, you have 3 points supporting your position, and then you have a concluding paragraph. Again, because we're in the wonderful world of computer technology, when I hit the enter button, my test was instantly graded, and I was awarded my score. The scale that the institution has is a 0 through 8 or a 1 through 8, and I scored 7 out of 8. So apparently I can construct a sentence or two. At least at that time on that day, I was able to. The math one is a little more involved. So let's go over here. And here, if you will, you can ask the people, what's my score? What's the minimum score I have to have? And there's two things that your institution is trying to do. Number one, they're trying to figure out, do you need to take a remedial math course? And my institution, they have something called Math 50, and that is a remedial math course that people will take to get them up to speed. If you're like me and you have been, out of the math scene for, a couple, 3 decades, there's a good possibility that you have forgotten a lot of math. And what they're first trying to do is they're trying to make sure that you meet the minimums in order to succeed in any math classes that you have to take. So So don't be afraid of this test. This test is trying to put you in the place where you are going to have the best chance of succeeding. If you need remedial math work, it's no shame to have to go to take Math 50 or remedial math, whatever they call it. Because there's a lot of concepts that can be covered in your course that you have probably not actively engaged in a number of years if you are, again, a non-traditional student like I am. So that's the first thing that they're trying to do. The second thing that they're trying to do is they're trying to figure out how much you do know, because it is a waste of your time and your money if you are well versed in statistics or college level calculus. It's a waste to have you slog through some prerequisites for those courses. It's a waste of your time, it's a waste of your money, and depending on the student load at an institution, you may be unnecessarily taking up a spot in a math class that could go to somebody that really needs to be in that course. So they're going to try to figure out at what level here you are operating on, and some courses are extremely math intensive, and they need to steer you towards those courses. And some courses are not highly math intensive. The program that I'm pursuing, I have to be able to take this Math 1110 course. And what they needed me to do was to score anywhere between a 9 and a 24. So here we go. Here's the pie. And the pie is divided into 5 different sections. These are all of the topics that you could possibly be tested for. So let's go back to my individual score. I took this test with not a whole lot of prep. I just went online and I did some basic arithmetic kind of review, and that's what I went into, because I understand they're not trying to make me feel dumb. They're just trying to figure out where I am going to best be able to function at. And so what they did is, in my test score, I scored a 24, and that's what I needed to score. And they tested me on these subjects. I had 37 topics that it touched on. In the yellow, it had I did okay in 13 of the 32 topics, in percents, proportions, and geometry. Some of these we never even got to. We didn't do any trig. We didn't do any exponents or logarithms. We didn't do any of this stuff because this is where I was at. My understanding, if I got that question right, the following question would be as hard or harder. If I got that question wrong, the following question would be as hard or less hard. And it had a number of subjects that you had to prove competency in. And when you satisfied enough of those areas, I was fairly strong in whole numbers, fractions, and decimals, percents, proportions, a little bit of geometry. And that's because that's what I deal with during the day. I measure with numbers a lot. I do some very basic geometry, when we're building things. So I was fairly strong in this area, and I scored enough that I was able to be admitted, and I didn't have to take a remedial course. So I'll take Math 1110, which is math for, I believe it's math for machinists. We'll have to double check on that. Here's the beauty of the ALEX test is when you get your score, it is going to automatically figure out a program for you to start being tutored by the software program. And it is going to go back and it is going to look at these areas, and it is going to start building a roadmap for you. And if this is the area that you are strongest in, and that forms a basis for you to complete these other areas, then you're going to do a lot of work in here, and then you are going to touch into these different areas. So when I started out, my pie was not this filled in. So if we'll go here, we can see these are different areas where it says I'm ready to learn. This will tell me, how far along I am in mastering the yellow slice of the pie, how far along I am into mastering the orange slice of the pie. Double check with your institution because they may vary from place to place. My institution is once you take this test and you receive your score, then what that does is that starts a timer. And as you work on these math tutoring areas, you will start to build up time. And once you complete 5 hours of online work, I believe that's what it is. Again, check with your institution. Once I complete 5 hours of work, it opens up the opportunity for me to test again. Your test score is only valid for a certain period of time. And then after that, if you have not progressed in your path, there's a good chance you're going to have to take this test again. But if you work and you do this, you do these plotted out areas of instruction, then this will unlock an attempt and you can schedule for that test again to see if your score gets better. Because some institutions require you to have a minimum score first of all, for admission. Some colleges want you to have a 31 or a 35 score just to get your foot in the door. And if you test, and let's say your institution wants you to have a 31 and you score a 28, then this will identify areas that you need instruction in. You can work on those online, kind of like just I showed you, is you'll go here and it's going to give you a question, and then it's going to explain to you how to do that question. And then it's got some hot links in here. If you need a refresher on what the order of operations is, you can click on this and it's going to tell you this is the order in which you have to do things. You have to clear parentheses, you have to evaluate expressions, and then you can work with multiplication and division and addition and subtraction. So once you complete that 5 hours of instruction, you're going to now open up another chance. And if you feel confident enough, you can take that test again to see if you have gained ground on those 2 points. So that is, that's the reason you take a placement exam or an assessment exam, in order for them to figure out where you have the best chance of succeeding, so that nobody's wasting time or money or places in a classroom. And then the advantage of doing it this way through the ALEX program is I never set foot in the school. I took my assessment exam, like I said, here at my desk that I'm sitting at right now, and then was able to work on that. If I wanted to take that placement exam again, I could do that right here. I could go into my Sinclair account and I could schedule that to take that exam again. So it's trying to find out where you're going to succeed at, and if you need areas to be worked on, it will help you. It's like a free tutor. And once you open up that ability to go into the tutor, mine's valid for a year, so I can work on this for free. So I have an extremely smart programmed course of instruction that I can do online in the comfort of my own home whenever I have the time. I can sit down here at 3 o'clock in the morning if that's when I'm awake, and I can go over this stuff. So there are some online test prep places you can go to. Some of them cost money. I didn't do any of those. Let's see if I can find out where I went to. Okay, here's where I went. I went to hippocampus.org. Homework and study help. And I went into here where it just says arithmetic. And I clicked on here, and then I just started working my way down through some of these online resources. So Pre-Algebra Foundational Concepts. Okay, this is all talking about numbers and stuff, but here, if you don't remember what factoring is, then you can go in and you can work your way through these online video courses from different places across the United States. I found the NROC, I believe these are the ones that I worked with the most, and I just started here and I just started plowing my way through here. And by the time I got done with this, I was feeling okay. You can then go back, and if you have been identified as having a certain area that you were weak in, let's just say that you did okay in arithmetic, but you were having some problems in geometry. Well, then you can go here, developmental math, geometry. Then you can go through and you can work your way through here, work your way through triangles, and get up to speed. So you can pay for prep courses, but I don't think there's any reason for you to pay for prep courses. You can also check with your institution and see if they have any type of resources there on the campus for you to prep for your assessment exam. So don't be afraid of it. Embrace it. Understand that they're just trying to find the best place for you to succeed. If that's the attitude that you go into it with, I think you're going to be okay, because nobody wants to waste time. Nobody wants to waste money, and nobody wants to waste a spot. And by taking this placement exam and finding out where you fit into your campus's program, that ensures you a better chance of succeeding, and that ensures that they have got you in the right spot. So I hear my cat jingle jangling, and I hear people coming in. So anyways, I'm James. Don't be afraid of it, and remember, if I can do it, you can do it. Cheers. Thanks for taking the time out of your day to spend it here with me. Hope you enjoyed this video. Here's one that you might enjoy as well. If you're not already subscribed, be sure to hit that button, hit the bell next to it so that you get a notification when we drop a new video. If you got comments, put them down beneath the sermon notes. And remember, if I can do it, you can do it. You guys have a great weekend. Cheers.